Hello everyone, this is going to be an overview of the Pentax KM, the slightly older model of the very famous K1000. First of all, I'm going to run you through some of the features. Here we have the film rewind lever, here the hot shoe for the flash, the shutter speed adjustment, the shutter or the shutter release, the film rewind lever, the depth of field preview button, the self timer, the lens release, the focus, the aperture, and another flash mount. At the top of the camera, on the shutter speed dial, there is an ISO adjustment. It's important to set your ISO on this dial before you start shooting with your film, because it allows the meter to meter correctly. If you don't have the correct ISO set here to what you've used, what film you've used, you'll basically be under or overexposing the film. So set your ISO before you start shooting. The way to change this is by lifting up the outside of the shutter speed dial. Only then can you move it left and right to change the value of the ISO dial. The dial itself ranges from everything from 20 ISO all the way up to 3200, and you do this by twisting it. Loading film on a Pentax KM is like loading film on any other 35mm film camera. To release the door, you lift this part and you lift it a little bit more, just so the door releases. Once the door releases, you load the film like you would any other 35mm film. If you don't know how to do this already, look on YouTube for other videos. Once it's loaded, you simply shut the door, press down that rewind knob again, and test to see that your film is properly loaded by turning it in the direction of the arrow. When you turn this and eventually it will stop, it means that the film is loaded properly. Don't force this, as it will just simply tear the film out of the film canister. You just need to do this to check that it's properly loaded. You'll know if it's not loaded properly when you turn this and it keeps going. That basically means the film is rewound back into its canister. To unload the film, you simply flip the camera over and press this button at the bottom, which releases the film from the take-up spool. Now, once that button is pressed, you can begin to rewind your film back into its canister until it goes loose and slack. You know that the film is fully in the canister. Once this is the case, you follow the same steps by lifting this part up and opening the back and retrieving your film. Now we'll move on to all the additional features that the KM has, not all of which the K1000 has. One of which is the depth of field preview button. Whilst not the most useful button, it does allow you to see what will be in focus at different apertures. If you don't know how this works, again, look at other YouTube videos on this subject. Next is the self timer. This is operated by pulling down this switch and then activating it by putting this secondary switch here. It'll make a whizzing sound for a while, and once it times out, it will release the shutter, like so. The next feature, which is actually on the KM obviously, is the flash mount. You just mount a regular flash on this, and the flash sync speed is indicated on the shutter speed dial with a little red X. If you try and shoot at a faster shutter speed than 1/60th of a second, it will cause streaky photos, which you don't want in your photos. Another interesting feature that the KM has is this film type it shows like the film type in this little window here. So if you load your film with colour film, you put it on this little sunshine, and if you rotate this, there's the sunshine again, but that's for 20 exposures. That's black and white. I'm not sure if you can see that properly, but as you rotate this, there are different film types indicated on that little window. It's not exactly that useful, but it is a feature that we can enjoy. Right here, right next to the self timer and the depth of field preview, is the lens release. You simply press that and rotate your lens. It's a fairly simple mechanism. The lenses that the KM takes are the SMC Pentax KM type lenses. I'm sure there are other type of lenses, but I've not really researched this so thoroughly. So that ends this video on the Pentax KM. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment sections and I'll be sure to answer them for you. Thank you for watching.